Hello everyone, and welcome back to Clark Sports Cards. Today we're going to do a little video on some PSA cards that I'm getting ready to submit to PSA. I have looked at these cards, scanned them, cleaned them, went through the magnifying glass, so forth and so on with the cards. They are done in the card saver sleeves and getting ready to submit to PSA. I don't do a lot of submission to PSA, but these are some higher end cards, and at $50 to grade, all these cards, even at a 9, will be beneficial to send in. Some of these cards range from anywhere from about, if they grade a PSA 10, anywhere from about $500 to $2,500 range. So I don't mind paying a little bump up if they do grade a little higher, because like I said, it'll be a benefit to me being a PSA 10. So I broke them up into 3 categories: basketball, football, and baseball. Don't have much baseball to send, because a lot of the baseball cards that I've got, even if they grade a PSA 10, will be, I don't know, anywhere from 200 to 500 range. So I thought I'd send a little bit more higher end cards at the $50 grading. So I put notes on the back of each one of these cards to see the imperfections that I saw when I was scanning them. A lot of these are going to be graded probably a possible 9. I'm hoping to get a 50-50 return rate on these, but we'll get into these individually and see where we're at. Let's start off with the one baseball. I only got one baseball to send in, and this is a Jordan Lawler. We got this out of Bowman Light Box. It's the variation auto. You see the black. It's not numbered. The auto looks pretty good. As you can see, the corners are all sharp all the way around, and I've got a little sticker on the back a little bit, and we'll kind of go over what I saw on each individual one. There's one imperfection on the card at the middle right on the side, and it's going to be hard to see it, but I think you can kind of see it maybe a little bit in the light, like right there, in the surface a little bit, right there. It's very faint. It's in the surface of the card. It will not clean out, so that's the only thing that I see. Just the light scratches a little bit, very, 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 very light scratches, as you can see. Like there's one maybe in the reflection you might be able to catch right there. Right there, you can probably see it. Other than that, it's a pretty clean card. It looks like it's a little thin on top, just a little bit. Left to right looks pretty good. So with that being said, there's the back of it a little bit as well. I thought this would get a 90%, anywhere about a 20% grade at a 10 and a 80% grade at a 9. So even at a 9, this card is probably going to be worth $1,000. So that's the reason why I'm sending this in. Maybe a shade below that as far as a 9, but either way, it's a highly sought after Jordan Lawler draft, not numbered card. So we're going to put that to the side, put my little sticker on the back of this, and I'm going to keep all my stickers to see how I turned out the grade, which will probably be, it could be 90 days from now. Let's go in with some basketball next. And I kind of ranked them as far as value at the very front. With this one be one of the lower ends. This is a LaMelo Ball Velocity Blue. Very nice, clean looking card there. You see the front and the back a little bit of it. I thought this would be a 50-50 shot, a 50% getting a 10, a 50% getting a 9. So it's kind of like right there on the cuff a little bit. It's a little thick on the top as far as centering. As you can see, the bottom and the top a little bit. It's a little off left to right. Looks pretty spot on. The surface on this thing, I've scanned this thing, is perfect. There's not a scratch, not a dimple, nothing on the surface whatsoever to take away of it. There's a small scratch on the rear of the vehicle of the card a little bit, and it's going to be probably hard to show in the reflection. I'm trying to just glance through the reflections. You can see right there when it reflects, but it's a small, right there it is. You can see it right there, right there. So I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's a faint scratch in the back here. So 50-50, I think, because it's on the back a little bit. It might lend towards the 10 because it's in the back and it doesn't go to the appeal of the card, but it's a little top heavy up top. So that's what we graded that, a 50-50 shot at a 9 or a 10. All right, the next one is another velocity, excuse me, of John Morant. And there's the front and back of this bad boy as well. It's a little thick up top, a little thin on the bottom. I assumed it'd be like a 60-40, basically, on the measurements. There's some faint scratches on the back a little bit, the surface, which is typical of this type of year. You can't see it unless it's under a magnifying glass a little bit, but you can see one maybe right there on the back. But the surface and the corners look great. I foresee this being a 35% at getting a 10, a 65% at getting a 9, and I don't think it's going to get an 8 at all. So, but yeah, so I thought this was worth sending in as well. John Morant's hot right now, so that's that one. All right, next one is the same one, John Morant, but this is a prism versus the other one being an optic. This is the red, white, and blue. Nice little parallel right there. It's not numbered, but it is a nice looking card here. Left to right, I don't know, about 55-45 it seems like, pretty good, left to right. Top to bottom, about 60-40. I will say when you look, I got some more of the prisms, but it seems like that the top, when I first measured it, it looks like this is the way it should be, but it's hard to tell a little bit. I mean, it seems like every one that I've got has got about the same width, but it almost looks like it's a little thin up top. I don't know. We'll see. But the corners look good. On the right side near his hair, there's a small dimple, or a small, above the black line. There's another one right there. Oh, it's going to be kind of hard to see. Like right there. I think it is right there. There's a little dimple in it, and right there. A couple small little dimples. The back is typical of prism chrome, where you'll see some faint scratches in the back that kind of runs across like it's going through the print and press. It's probably not going to show in the reflection here, but it's very faint. I've tried to polish some of these out, and it does not polish out. So, but yeah, corners are good and everything like that. Back's got little scratches. I figured this would be a 10% at getting a 10, a 70% chance of getting a 9, and a 20% at getting an 8. And that's all dependent really on the centering, is where the 8 factor comes in, which I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell with these, but that's that one. Now the next two are the silvers, John Morant silvers. I've opened a lot of products back in the year before the craze went with the John Morant, the Zions, and stuff like that. When it was pretty reasonable, then it kind of started shooting up a lot. But we got 2 prism silvers we're going to send in. This first one here, there's no scratches or corner issues at all on the vehicle. It's very tight, very clean looking card. Left to right centering looks to be pretty spot on and very good. The top to bottom is off a little bit, like we said before, maybe a little bit thin up top. Has some minor surface issues and scratches on the back, just very, very minor, like a magnifying glass type of scratches. But the corners and everything looks good on the vehicle. I keep saying vehicle, on the auto card. So foresee this getting a 10% of getting a 10, 75% of getting a 9, and a 15% of getting an 8. I'm very tight with my grading. I really scan these cards and look over every imperfection, and I might be too overcritical sometimes of grading cards, but that's my determination of that. So, but like I said, a silver John Morant is still at a 9, a very valuable card. Same thing with this one. I think the grading was that. It's got a small dimple in the reflection at the right rear of the card. Left to right 60-40 or 65-35, one or the other. As you can see, it's a little thick over on the left versus the right, just a tad bit. Top to bottom, the same issues as before. It appears that it's thin a little bit on top, but I'm not 100% sure on that. There's a faint reflection scratch on the back of the card, which you probably won't see in the card saver, but faint scratch. I'm trying to see if I see it here, but I do not. But anyway, I graded this as a 10% of getting a 10, 80% getting a 9, and a 10% of getting an 8 on that. And like I said, once again, the 8 is all depending on the centering a little bit, whether it'll really knock me for that. But still a nice looking clean card. These things, if they grade, I think it was right around 2,500 if they grade a PSA 10. I could be wrong, but I think that's about right. And that's the basketball I got. If you see any of these cards that you definitely wouldn't grade, please comment below. I'm curious to see what your input is as well. Football, on to football. This football is, this is, believe it or not, probably one of my lower end football ones right here. And this is a Patrick Mahomes that I'm sending in. It's the rookies. For some reason, I think the rookie cards, or the rookie symbol, is harder to pull than, like, for instance, not the press proof, but the regular rated rookies. But the rated rookies seem like it holds more valuable than the rookies for Patrick Mahomes, which I don't know why, but either way, it is what it is. Let's get to the back of this card, see what we look at on this. Sharp corners, sharp edges, no issues at all. Very sharp, clean looking card. The centering left to right is probably 65-35. Little thick on the left. Top to bottom, same. 65-35 is what I've seen. Based on that, see, it's a little thin up top, a little thick over here. Based on that alone, I think it's going to get a 9, just based on the center. But if you look at it, I mean, it's a clean looking card. I mean, technically 60-40 is graded a 10, but I know how PSA is grading here lately. That's not always the case. A 60-40 is a 9. They're stringent as far as that now for some reason with centering, and they're bypassing the rules for grading. But the very clean looking card. I figured this would be a 25% at a 10 and a 75% at a 9. Will not get an 8 on this one. If it is, I don't know what they're looking at, because this is a very clean card, front and back, no scratches, no corner issues at all under magnifying. So yeah, very clean, very crisp looking card there. So I want to try to look at some of these while I'm getting it, because somehow I've noticed that some cards are getting damaged through PSA, so we're going to do a little video to preserve them. So, but yeah, that's that one. 25% at a 10 and a 75 at a 9. All right, the press proof Patrick Mahomes. This is the harder pull because it is a press proof, but nice looking Patrick Mahomes card, front and back. Let me get my little sticker off the back. Nice clean looking card, top to bottom, left to right. This is a bottom right, left corner has got a tick. Both the bottom left and the bottom right has got a small tick, and I don't know if you can see that or not. I mean, it is so faint that, there it is. You see a touch right there and a touch, and it's more prevalent, I think, on the back a little bit. You can see it right there, the little tick right there, and the same for this. Let's see if I can get my, come on, magnifying in, let's go. And it's not going to do it. There it is. You can see it right there, a small little tick right there in the gray on the bottoms. So I think that right there might hurt me a little bit, but I think the centering is great on this thing. Top to bottom might be a little bit thick on the bottom, but you see the RC logo, I mean the Donruss logo down there, it's almost the same as the thickness right, the border up through here. So that's a question, but the left right you can see very good because of the edges right there, the border, so that looks very spot on. So based on my grading looking at it, I think it's got a 15% at getting a 10, an 80% at getting a 9, and a 5% at getting an 8, and that's just based on the 2 ticks at the very bottom of this card. So yeah, still clean looking card, nice Patrick Mahomes, press proof. Some of these I will be happy with a 9 as well. I don't know, I got this from a buddy, shout out for Steven Cards. I'm going to send this in for grading. Mac Jones. It's the gold out of 10. 8 out of 10. This is the only one that I got this numbered that I'm sending in. The rest of these are kind of like variation parallels, or even some of the base and stuff like that I'm sending in. Not much base here, but normally it's like autos or whatever. But I am going to grade probably the auto on that Jordan Lawler. But this nice little Mac Jones right here, got it from Derek at Stevens Cards. It's got a small dimple right at the right ear of his head, and I don't know if you can see it here, a small dimple. See if we can get it right there. It is. You can see it right there in the reflection just a tad bit, but right there near his ear hole, it's got a small dimple in the chrome right there. It's real hard to see. The edges have a little bit of issues on the right and the bottom side, as you can see. It's almost like the chrome right there. How the chrome is, it's not lifting, but as you can see down at the bottom right there, there's a little like fur I've tried to clean it, and I don't want to sit there and clean it too bad where I could damage the card, but it looks like that it's got some type of, I wouldn't say chrome is lifting, but it's almost like a cut, like a jagged little bit of cut edge. You can see it pretty good right there at the bottom. And then I think it said the right side as well. The center is off a tad, left to right it appears, but it's well within the 60-40 range, I think. Very clean looking card. The corners are very nice, as you can see right through there, very sharp, no tick marks on it at all. But an 8 out of 10, Mac Jones in playoff, yeah, I think this will be a nice little addition to the PC or whatever, you know, as far as that goes. But a nice Mac Jones nonetheless. All right, next one. Nice little banger here, Joe Burrows, and this is the red cracked ice. It's not numbered, but a nice looking Joe Burrows card. One of my better Joe Burrows cards that I've got. This will probably go into the PC a little bit. I don't know if I said the Mac Jones, but I thought that would be a 30% 10 and a 70% 9 on the Mac Jones, by the way. This one has got perfect centering, no issues at all on the surface. The bottom corners only on the back side's a real small touch under a 10 times magnifying glass. As you can see, that little small tick right there at the bottom a little bit. This one over here, same way. You see that little tick right there? I don't know if that's going to hurt it because it's weird. It's the tick does not show on the front at all. Very clean card, but the back, being because it's chrome, it doesn't show ticks as bad as the paper on the back a little bit. Even though it is still kind of somewhat chrome, it's got the overlay finish on it, but the front doesn't show it. The back shows it a little bit. I'm hoping that they'll be more lenient towards the back, but you know, the plus on this is a centering. Look at that bad boy. I mean, it is beautifully centered, which is very rare for Prism. I like this card, beautiful looking card. I thought, based on it being in the back, an 80% chance of getting a 10 and a 20% chance of getting a 9. So I'm hoping for a 9 on this, a 10 on this bad boy as well. Be a nice banger card to add to the collection. Nice Joe Burrows cracked ice. One that should sell a little bit higher than that is the Rookie Stellars. Believe it or not, it's come out of Rookies and Stars. This is an insert, the Chrome Stellar Rookies of Patrick Mahomes. Nice sought after card, beautiful looking card here. Before I get into that, let me put my sticker on the back of this one. But a nice Stellar Rookies of this nonetheless. Love this card. I actually had 2 of these. Sold one probably about 2 years ago for about $300 raw. Wish I hadn't, but it is what it is. On the back, I did keep the nicer one out of the 2. It's got a small tick in the back on the left corner. Let's see if you can see it. Don't know if you can or not, but I had to magnify it. You can kind of see it just a little bit right there, maybe. That small little tick right there on the back. It does not show on the front at all. Very clean surface and centering on this card from what I can tell. Very nice looking card. There's no pits, no imperfections, no scratches on the surface. There's 3 very tiny like hairs on the clear coat of the finish of the card with the 10 magnifying glass over on the right. And it's a hair. You're not going to probably see it. It's almost like in the chrome finish, but I had to get a magnifying glass to see it. I think it was like one there, one there, one there, but it's so minor. I'm talking like this little piece of trash right here. It's smaller than that that was in the surface, and it was like a little tiny hair. So, but anyway, very clean, nice looking card. I thought this would be a 35% chance of getting a 10, a 60% chance of getting a 9, and a 5% of getting an 8. So like I said, just depending on who grades it, how good day they're having and everything like that, but that's my determination of that. Nice Stellar Rookies. All right, and the banger of football is going to this downtown Patrick Mahomes. I pulled this out of a pack and went right into the sleeve. Very nice, very clean looking card. It has 2 for this year in Optic, the downtown's Patrick Mahomes, but this one is the more sought after one. I think it's the Super Bowl one. They have another variation of it, but this is the more desirable one out of the 2 because it shows him kind of like celebrating the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Very nice, very clean looking card. The surface and the corners are perfect on this card. Very tight, very clean all the way around. It appears that the centering is 60-40 on this card, on the front and the back. And it's kind of hard to tell a little bit. You can see it looks like it's a little thick on the back, and it's a little bit thin over here. I know the back doesn't mean as much, but it looks like it's a little bit thicker. But when you get over here to look at it, it's kind of weird because there's no borders on this card. And you can see like the flamingo or the palm tree, how it goes to the edge over here and how closer it is over here. I don't know if that's one indication. You can see right here at the crown of the Miami how it's a little bit thinner over here and a little thicker over here. But this is closer to the edge, the palm tree over here, than this side. So it's kind of weird. I think the top and bottom is spot on because there's a logo there, and then you've got the border at the bottom. So I think the centering top to bottom is good. This one I'm kind of clueless on. I mainly looked at the edges, corners, surface, and everything like that, which is perfect. The only thing that's going to hurt this card is going to be the centering, and I just don't know what's the true tell left to right. Is it right here? Or is it here at this edge of this palm tree? Because like I said, this is thicker, this is thinner, this is thicker, and this is thinner. So, you know, how do you know? There's no defined border on this thing. So, even the downtown little thing here, it looks like it's a little thin over here and a little thicker over here, but definitely within the 60-40 range. But, you know, it's weird because, you know, like I said, this is thicker. This is thinner, this is thicker, this is thinner down here at the border. So who knows? I think it's just the way the card is made. I'm hoping it gets a nice PSA 10. This could be probably a $2,500 card or more if it gets a PSA 10. So looking forward to that. So that's my cards that I'm submitted in. I got 14, I think, total. Yeah. So looking for the PSA reveals on these. I'll keep my stickers on the back to see. Well, again, it's probably going to be, like I said, about 90 days before I get it back if I'm lucky through PSA. We're going to do a submission to that. I got 12 cards we're going to send in, and we'll see what the turnaround is on this and also what grades we get, because I think these are going to be some great cards. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and looking at my grades, and we'll do a roundup video later on. Y'all keep on ripping. Clark Sports Cards out.